Good afternoon, and welcome once again to the 30-Day Mental Diet. I am Carl Gale, Elder Carl Gale of the Philadelphia Sabbath Cathedral. This is day 19 of the 30-Day Mental Diet. I would like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and to follow along every day on the 30-Day Mental Diet. Let's get right into the introduction. This week's lesson is called Discover Your Place in Life. So let's read the introduction together. You possess certain abilities which you need to recognize and seek to capitalize on. In many instances, certain abilities are just born, naturally blossom forth. At other times, you may seek to discover what new capabilities you might possess and then cultivate and develop them. In any situation or in whatever direction you may think you are best able to give to the world of what you have, there is a proper place for you to do so. So what right here in the introduction in Discover Your Place in Life, it says that you were given certain abilities from God. In fact, the Bible says that every single person was given a measure, a gift from God, a certain amount of talent. You might say, well, I can't sing, I can't dance. That's not the only talent there is. There's an infinite amount of talents out there in the world. You have to look within and ask God what it is that is your talent. Or you may want to seek out something in the world that you want to cultivate within yourself. And it says, I am going to cultivate this thing within myself, and I am going to bring this gift to the world. Let me move forward. Source of your abilities. In order to find your proper place in life in relation to what you have to contribute, it is first necessary that you have a firm understanding of the nature and source of your abilities. Fundamentally, life is an active, constructive, and purposeful endeavor. And this activity and purpose do not end with the creation of you, but of necessity must continue through what you are and do. Here's a good point. Life has something to express and create through you. You have been graced with intelligence. You are an individualization of the infinite intelligence, and it is up to you to recognize this and do something about it. So you are a piece of God. A small piece of God has been put within you. A measure has been put in you. And it is up to you to recognize this and do something with what the gift that God has given you. Let me move forward. You have something to offer. Often in your work and activities, you may feel that you are not allowed to contribute the best of your abilities, and as a result, do nothing. That enables you to have a sense. You do nothing that. Let me read that again. Often in your work and activities, you may feel that you are not allowed to contribute the best of your abilities, and as a result, do nothing that enables you to have a sense of being creative. Regardless of what the work you're engaged in some way, you need to find within yourself something that you can contribute to it, whether the endeavor is entirely to your liking or not. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. Some of us are engaged in certain occupations and certain vocations that we may not particularly like. But what they're saying is that if you become engaged in this work and look within yourself and find what can I do to contribute to this work, because all labor is good. Everybody in the world has a job to do, and you should never let anybody think that your job is not that important and your job is not necessary. Right now we have a lockdown going, and some people are going to work and some people are not going to work, and there's a thing of what we call essential workers and non-essential workers. Well, that's nice, but all workers are essential. Every single job. I was just thinking about just the people that clean for us. Right now, because of this pandemic, everybody's cleaning every single place. Now, for years, people have been cleaning up after us. They're cleaning our offices, they're cleaning our streets, they're cleaning our homes, they're cleaning the restaurants, they're cleaning everything around us. And we may not see it as an essential job, but this job is essential because it helps to prevent disease and keep hygiene up. So that is a very essential job. So sometimes you're looking at a job, you're in a vocation, and you don't see the importance of your vocation, but every labor that you do is important. Let me move forward. Start contributing. Unless you learn, let me start at the beginning. A possible key to find the proper place or activity for the release of your abilities is always to contribute. New ways and new means of doing your abilities will never develop unless you make use of every possible opportunity to offer something of what you are in all that you do. Unless you learn to do this and do it with joy and enthusiasm, you may find that you inhibit the creative flow of life through you. So your work should be done with joy and with enthusiasm. And that word enthusiasm means with spirit or with God. So anything you're doing with enthusiasm, you're actually doing it with spirit. And what is spirit? You're doing it with God. And when you do it with God and with spirit, that spirit will show you new ways and new means to do your vocation, to do your occupation in more creative ways, to do your work and your occupation. I'm going to read that same sentence again. Unless you learn to do this and do it with joy and enthusiasm, you may find that you inhibit the creative flow of life through you and become an automation doing just those things necessary to keep yourself alive. You were not created for this type of existence. Now, do you know people that they just do the minimum? The minimum. They said, this is all I'm doing. This is all I get paid to do. I'm not doing anything else. This is not what you're here for. You're here to contribute to life. God did not make you for this type of existence. So it's important that you know that you are doing your work as to the Lord. Not only as to the Lord, but when you're doing it with enthusiasm, you're doing it with God. Enjoy what you're doing. Regardless of how high a goal you may have, regardless of how high a goal you may have set for yourself, or how lowly your present activity may be in relationship to it, a negative attitude will prevent you from finding a better outlet for your activities and abilities. Now, this is important. You may have set a high goal, but you may be in a very low place in relationship to the goal that you have set. But your attitude must be positive. If you have a negative attitude, it will prevent you from going from your lowly circumstances up to where the goal that you have set. So an attitude change is very, very important. Okay, let's move on. Whether you feel that you have a lot or a little to contribute, there are always those untapped inner resources which may be called upon. And those inner resources is the Spirit of God that is within you. And there's resources there to be tapped to be more creative in your vocation. Okay, let's move down to the last paragraph. Act today. Today is the only time you can express more of the life that flows through you. Start now to give to the best of your ability to your every activity. Whether it be digging a ditch, running a big corporation, managing a home, life is always waiting for you to permit it to flow more fully through your activities. And there is always a right place, a right way, and a purposeful reason for it. And it can contribute to itself through you. And that's really wonderful statement. There's a song that's sang in church once in a while. It's called "There's a Place for Every Worker in the Vineyard of the Lord." And there's a place for you. And God wants to be your co-partner in whatever vocation and whatever business you decide to venture out in. Let me move forward. In the piece on religion, the quote from the religion is 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 8, which says, "And God is able to make all grace abound towards you, that you, always having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work." So God is able to make grace, anything you need, any work you're engaged into, God's grace is there to carry you through from a lowly position to a lofty position. This is important for you to understand. Work with God. Work with enthusiasm. And when you work with God and you work with enthusiasm, you will find that your work will give you more purpose. And not only will you get more purpose, but you will see new ways and new means to do your work in a more efficient way. And you will notice that people around you will realize that you are working with God, and you will find yourself elevated very fast into the high places of the earth, whether you may come in as a janitor and leave as a CEO. Work with God. Always remember, whatever work you're doing, you're working with enthusiasm. You are working with God. Let's do the mental diet together. All right? So let's follow along with me in the diet, and let's put these words straight into our subconscious mind. Okay. I know that in the mind of God, there is a reason and a purpose to be fulfilled through my life. I continually seek the greater potentials which reside within me, knowing that as I recognize them, accept them, and express them, there's a right way and a right place for this creative activity. All frustrations and resentments about what I am now doing are discarded, for I know that there are proper outlets for whatever abilities I possess and express in all that I undertake. I discover what it is of myself that I can contribute to my endeavor. I am never at a loss as to what to say or do that can in some way enhance all that I undertake. Today, I know that I am in my right place, and I rightfully give to it the best that I have. My right place tomorrow may not be the same as today's, for as I increasingly permit the creative expression of life through me, ever greater opportunities open up to me. I know that my way is made clear, that I am guided and directed in a manner that permits me to express to the utmost the innermost nature of my being. I continually find myself in my right place, and the reciprocal action of life properly returns to me an abundance in proportion to what I give. Isn't that wonderful? God is going to give you in abundance, in a proportion of what you give. We did this in a previous chapter. The more you give, the more life is going to give back to you. So give to life. Give to your vocation. Give with enthusiasm, and God is going to reciprocate back to you with abundance. Let's read the capsule supplement. This is a nice capsule supplement that you can use for your affirmations. I know that God is continually active and creative through me, and that there is a unique purpose for my being. I discover my rightful place so that I may give the best of what I am. Wonderful lesson. Give to life. Give with enthusiasm. Give of your whole self, knowing that you are working with God. And any occupation that you start out doing, no matter how small it may seem, as long as you work with God, know that God is going to elevate you to the highest places in that occupation. I want to thank you once again for taking time out of your busy schedule to tune into the 30-Day Mental Diet. I would love to hear your comments below. And if you like this video, please press the like button and share the video with your friends. And I will see you again tomorrow on the 30-Day Mental Diet. Thank you so much for tuning in.